Welcome to the Teach Big podcast, where big energy, big ideas, and big results are just the beginning. I'm your host, Randy Whitney, and whether you're in year 1 or year 20, we are here for you in big ways. That's right, B-I-G. Here, education is inspired, energy is required, as you can tell, and support for teachers is absolutely non-negotiable. Whether you're driving to work, prepping for your class, or catching a quiet moment after a long day with kids, thank you for spending time with me. I would greatly appreciate you sharing, subscribing, and liking so that you can become a part of our Teach Big community too. Today's episode is so special and near and dear to my heart because the two very amazing guests that I have here today are so special and amazing for kids who need and want new types of learning. I love what they're doing. I love the mission behind it. I love the premise behind it. So please help me welcome from the Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville, Julie Smith, who is our district coordinator of TIVA, and Andrea Walker, who is the Title I Senior Manager of TIVA. Please help me welcome these ladies in such big ways. That's right, B-I-G ways, because these ladies are doing big things in the world of virtual learning. And when I first thought about virtual learning, I'll be honest, was in good old 2020 when COVID hit. I'd never thought much about virtual learning. I knew it existed. It was in the background of life. It became in the foreground of life during that time. As you all know, we own a preschool, and we even stepped into the world of that virtual learning with our preschool kids. I made packets. Parents would come. They'd have to sit outside for a certain amount of time because germs and all. Then they would come pick up the packets. They would go home and they could log in. My husband is a genius on the computer and all, and put everything together. Parents would log in and they would do our preschool lessons with us live. So I had a taste of that in the preschool world. I knew that we had to do something for our community. I had no idea that schools everywhere were scampering to figure out how to also do that in their world with their levels, with their subjects, with their grade levels. So several years ago, I heard about TIVA at a conference called TEPSA, and from another dear friend of mine who is a coordinator, or what does Randy do?
Accountability and
She's
assessment
accountability
coordinator.
and assessment coordinator. Okay, excellent. So I heard about you guys through Randy, and she said, oh my gosh, our TIVA ladies need what you're doing. And I said, tell me about that. What is TIVA? And so she introduced me to it. I said, oh my gosh, I'm so intrigued. Tell me more about that. As fate would have it, and I'm not sure that I've told both of you this. I think I told one of you. But one of the girls that went to Strawberry Field, her name is Raleigh. She is a ballet dancer. She's an amazing dancer. They travel the world, and she is the coolest kid ever. And her family, because of their traveling situation, needed an alternate way for Raleigh to get her education. And so she does amazing traveling escapades all over the world and dances in the biggest stages, right? She's able to get her very quality and public education. I'm right on that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So she gets this public quality education with real teachers. Some videos, but they're real teachers with real faces, real voices. So it's almost like she gets the best of both worlds. And so when I started hearing more about TIVA, it so happens that somebody said, does anybody have any ideas on homeschooling? And I was in a Facebook group. And Raleigh's mama chimed in and she said, I have something better for you than homeschooling. Now, homeschooling's wonderful for many people, right. So I'm just letting you know their conversation. And Raleigh's mom said, I have an idea for you. And she just went on and on and on about TIVA, and she should have been a walking billboard for you guys. And I thought, TIVA? I know about TIVA. And that's my Raleigh. What's happening in my life right now? And so making all of those connections, I just really feel that it's a situation where we were brought together for a bigger purpose, to make a bigger difference. And I'm really serious about that. So with welcoming Julie and Andrea, I would like each of you just tell me a little bit about yourselves and how you came into the virtual world of teaching, and what does it mean to you? How is it different? How does it work? Just tell me all the things.
Well, I'm going to back you up a little bit in history.
Okay.
So at Hallsville Independent School District, the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and school board had a vision back in 2012 and 2013.
Okay.
And that was to start our own virtual school at Hallsville. And we went through the process that we had to be approved with the Texas Virtual School Network. And we received our waiver to be able to do that. And so we started one in-house.
Okay.
And so we had Hallsville students, Hallsville staff teaching, Hallsville providing the curriculum. And we did that for several years, but it's a big undertaking.
It's huge. I
And
can't
it's
imagine.
huge because you're a public school at home. And so everything that the
Right.
public school provides, you have to provide as well.
Oh, wow.
And so then around, I guess it was 2017, they started having conversations with our current partner, Stride K-12, and that's when TIVA was created. So I had actually been involved in the brick and mortar virtual school back in 2013. I was in the math department and I wrote some of the math curriculum and worked with the staff. And so when this opportunity came along to be the coordinator for the district, I interviewed and I got the position.
I love that.
And so it was kind of.
And so you're the OG.
I guess so. And we were a little nervous about it because we didn't know if we'd have any kids. And so we started out the year
Wow.
we thought we were going to be small. Started out thinking we'd have 1,500. We ended first
That
semester.
sounds big to me.
Yeah. Second semester we went up to 45, and then we ended the year at 6,500 students.
Oh,
and
my
it just
gosh.
exploded from there. And it was just wonderful because it's, like I said, it's a public school at home, but it's the Texas curriculum. It's taught by Texas certified teachers, and they are there for their students, and they serve them in all the ways that a brick and mortar serves their students.
Wow.
And so it's a very special undertaking for Hallsville. We believe in all students, and that all students can learn, and all students can be successful.
That's the heart of it. I love so much.
And so we're an open enrollment public school, and we want to welcome our students
I
in
love
and
that.
meet them where they are. And then the partnership was
And
created,
take them as
and
far
it
as
just
they
took
can
off.
go.
And they think, and this
Well, those
Tiva
numbers
thinks
speak
outside the box.
volume. You know, if you're thinking, oh, maybe 1,500, I hope we get that, and you're talking 6,500 in just year one, you said, I think that speaks volumes just by itself, the need and an idea whose time has come.
So we were a school before COVID came around.
Wow. So COVID did not invent you. Wow. That's
And
neat.
We actually
Who knew?
had that conversation. Like when COVID came around, we thought, well, that's not COVID. We're not COVID. But everybody kept saying virtual came around then. It was just
You're
like, we
like,
need
no.
to change that story. We need to back it up a little bit and help them see that although we did what we needed to as a country, as a nation
Sure,
to
of
figure it out,
course.
but there is a different way that's a little bit, has a surer footing, very well planned out. And we provide for our families and our students.
Well, and I think what I've learned from you guys too is you can tell you did not rush into this. You developed it very authentically in a need-based. It was not in an emergency nationwide crisis situation. The organization, the teachers you have. By the way, speaking of the teachers you have, we have a live studio audience today, so we'll even be asking for input, and they'd like to input it along the way. But we have a week-long training here at the Ranch and Crockett, doing all the things full circle and all of the TEKS training because we are public school teachers in TIVA, right? So we're getting all of that training here at the ranch, and that's also why we look like this. We just got back from a wagon ride. So just clarifying that part of the puzzle.
Adventures.
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, Julie, so we know how you became a part of the puzzle. Andrea, can you tell me how you became a part of the puzzle?
Surely. Well, in 2005, I was working at a district that was about 45 minutes out, and I used to carpool.
Okay.
And at that time, the only virtual school that we knew of was in Colorado, and I was so intrigued.
Intrigued by
I
it.
wanted to know. My curiosities, I researched, and it just was not going to fit. You had to live there, and you had to meet all these criteria, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. So
Yeah, it's virtual.
yes, years down the road, I was taught at a couple of different schools and programs, and then in 2013, I was able to come on with TIVA, or it was a different school at that point, but K-12
Gotcha.
has had a footprint in Texas for a while. In the virtual education business, K-12 or Stride has been in business about 25 years.
Okay.
So
I did
they
not know
know
that.
the business. It just hasn't been in Texas that long.
I see.
So it was a prior school. I joined them in 2013. And then in 2016, 17-ish, when TIVA came in, we transitioned over there. And it just felt like it was innately placed in my path because it was
sure.
a curiosity so far back
Right.
that just never came to fruition. But when it did, it was
That seed had been planted.
perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
and there was a value, and I think that's what's important when you're working with children and you see like there are different needs for every student, and then when you have this opportunity to provide a chance, an option for them to do something different that's going to serve their heart and support their needs better,
Right.
then you want that for them, and you want that for yourself because you see
course.
these brick walls you're just continuing to run up against.
Yeah.
So this seems like a very good opportunity for all of us.
Really, as educators and as students and as parents, when I talk to Raleigh's mom, we're good friends, and it's interesting because she said you don't realize the opportunities that this opportunity has afforded our family, and they're very diligent. And she talked about all the honors and all the things. It's neat to see this virtual academy being run like a public school. You have a graduation.
You're not
Right?
missing anything.
You're not missing anything. Tell me about that. So, what are some of the cool things that you would think, oh, if I'm virtual, I'm going to miss out on such and such, but you're not? What are some of those things? Like graduation? What else do you guys still
we
have?
get prom for our
love
seniors.
that.
We have socialization options. We have online, more like a recess. It's called Zone. We have that. We have outings in person that we meet consistently. We have a parent community that they can log into, and in their region they can
So is it
connect.
like a PTA kind of thing, or
Kind of.
of-
We're
or
moving
like-
that direction. We have
okay.
a Bobcat Den that will be our
Okay.
PTO parent
Got it.
organization.
Okay.
But it's more so learning community because we are
Okay.
across the state. It's very hard to find those
Right.
people
You're
that
spread
are
out.
near.
Makes
So they
sense.
can link with people that are in their neighborhood. Parents. We don't allow that for students necessarily.
Got
but
it,
parents
sure.
can connect and then they can say, yes, I would love for our students to get
To be able
together,
to-
and
okay.
they drive that conversation. But they're able to do that based on their region in Texas. So
okay, so neat.
yes.
Well, I think what's interesting about both of you is it was a idea and a passion that was kind of planted in your heart long before it ever happened. In other words, that emergency of 2020 did not cause you to be here to do what you do. That was a passion that came prior, and I did not know that. Until we talked today, I did not know that part. I thought I knew you all so well.
Nuggets
Who
of
knew?
goodness coming.
Nuggets of goodness just flying all over the place. That's right. So I love that because I just really believe that the passions that are put in our heart really do, if we feed them, really do come to fruition. And it sounds like your passions were well fed. And I know that you guys as administrators are feeding your teachers so well. In our training, we're seeing that, with our administrators and our teachers that are in the room today, that we are seeing that in the heart that these ladies and gentlemen have, the questions that they are asking. They're not just they're not idly sitting there, oh, there's Randy
Very insightful.
telling us more stuff. They are not. They have good questions. I've been bragging on y'all, by the way, out here in the audience to these ladies in the evenings. That is like, oh my goodness, their quality of questions, their depth of understanding, their excitement for it, the heart for kids is so huge and so clear. So I just had to let y'all know that I'm just so proud of them. So, okay, so a few questions along the way.
Here we go.
By the way, we've decided, since the three of us talk a lot, that this is going to be a two-parter. So we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll cut, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll go into part two.
Okay.
All right. So, what drew you into online learning? We kind of addressed that already, but what do you think drew you into it? When you saw that school in Colorado, what made you think, oh yeah, that's for me?
Well, curiosity, because it's mostly rural. So I thought, how does that work? I want to know more. And then what kind of student attends? Is it just
Right.
farmers, more rural areas? Did they not have the opportunity to go to school? As I'm finding, and as I was immersed into a virtual learning environment, I found that, so my first year, it was more of sports.
Like Raleigh and
Yes,
the ballet.
they needed,
and-
or medical.
Sure.
It was those one-off situations,
Got you.
or more so. What I'm finding now, as we progress through the years, is it's more of a need. Either maybe their special needs are not being met,
Got you.
or they don't get that program out of school because maybe that funding isn't
there
possible,
for that.
Right, available for
or potentially they've got some behavior specialties or that they need
Right.
help with, and they need different supports. We can offer that. Some of them are medical, some of them are parent situations where they're just like, I can't get them to school on time, or I don't have that vehicle this helps us to maintain that. We have quite a few students who are supporting their families, and not most of them, but several of them are young parents, or they're supporting their parents.
Sure. So many case scenarios.
Yes. So it's not. It has grown from just not just, but a group of kiddos who have one-off situations to more of this is a regular learning environment. And the one thing I always tell them is our learning environment is not for everybody, but for those that it is for, it serves them and it supports their learning through their lifetime.
Got it.
So they're not held by an environmental factor or a medical factor or a situational event. It is, we are going to go ahead and support you through whatever life is throwing at
Wherever
you.
you are.
And then we're going to get you to the other side so you can live your life to the fullest. But all of the things that tend to hold us back, those aren't there. And that's what I love about it.
So cool.
That they have an opportunity. And you don't just go, well, this didn't work for me. Then we're the then what?
Then
you know.
Oh, I like that. You're the then what?
Yeah.
And you're answering a calling for them. Tell me from your perspective a little bit more about all of the kids that just come from all of the different types of families, all the different areas around the state. Tell me about that, Julie.
I think the special part for me is when I hear the stories of the students, what they've experienced or what their needs are, and how we were able to meet those needs and get them through that season of life that they were in. It's just amazing to see where they start and where they finish, and how much they grow during that time.
And know that you had a little part of that. Yeah. I love it.
It's great knowing that we have that many Hall School Bobcats around the state of Texas. All over.
And I love that you said you guys have a prom and you have graduation. So they're not missing out on anything. They're being served in the way they need to be served, right? I love it. I love it so much. So what do you think are the most, and I'll just let you both chime in, what do you guys think are the most common misconceptions that people have about virtual learning?
The first one would be that we're a homeschool. We are a public school at home, and so when students complete our program, we're 3rd through 12th grade, and when they complete and they graduate, they have a Hallsville Independent School District diploma from TIVA.
Love that.
That's probably the biggest. We'll get a call and say, want to know about your homeschool program.
It's like,
and
no.
Yeah, we have to explain to them, no, we're public, and that means something because we have to provide all the same services that a brick and mortar does, and just in a little bit different way.
In a little bit different way. Oh, I want to hear more about that too. So you tell me, what do you think? Misconceptions? What do you?
Mine would be the services.
Okay.
That possibly we're not able to satisfy all the needs because we are virtual and we're not right there in front of them. But we have an amazing, extensive team that supports every facet of student learning. So it's not just limited to what you see on the screen. We have our IEPs and our ARD meetings and our 504s and
you're
our
still
EB
doing
and,
all of those things.
Dyslexia services
GT.
and GT.
Really?
And this year we've got a DAP campus, an alternative education program that we now have under our Title I canopy, and they serve students who may not flow as well in the traditional camp and may need a little bit more structure.
Got it.
So we have found quite a positive outcome on that. This today, this today, we were talking about some of the stories, and we've asked for some of the parents because we have a transition meeting before they move back onto their campus.
Got you.
And the parents share with us there were countless. There was a senior that said, I would not be graduating right now if I did not have this program. There were parents who said, we would not be in school. My student would not be here. He would not be doing as well. So those are the things that we work for. One student is worth it for us, but we've got 20,000 we serve.
That's what I was going to say. You go back 6,500 and now you're at 20,000, and I think capping you at 23,000. It's just, wow.
Yeah. And the need is, it's there, and they want to have the conversation. And what I love about it is you get the relationship with it.
That's so intriguing to me because you would think face-to-face is where the relationship would be, but yet you're telling me that through this virtual situation, there's the relationship. Can you tell me more about that? How does that work? I love it.
I'm not sure. It's one of those mind-blowing things that I love
works.
about. Yes, I love about this approach to learning, because when let me step back. When I was brick and mortar and you work next to people every
Sure.
day, you think you know them. And you think you know your children because they bring to you what they have
want
every
you to
day.
see.
Yes. The first thing that I noticed when I joined the virtual learning is the parent interaction and their want and their relationship, their
Got it.
pour into it is different. Not
interesting.
better or less. They were just more involved differently.
Really?
And where I might talk to a parent at brick and mortar once every 6 weeks or what have you, couple of
Sure.
3 weeks. With our parents, we are consistently talking to them. And then
Really?
one of the things I really love about our program is we operate in transparency. Everything's recorded. You see all of the materials asynchronously. All of everything is shipped to your house that is not asynchronous, so you
Got
can
it.
thumb through it and look through it. And at any time you have a question, you come to our teacher, you come to one of us, and you say, "Hey,
Right.
tell me about this. What's going on?"
Right.
That's one of the strongholds that I think
Sure.
we offer our families.
I love that you have that much communication with the parents. Obviously, I like communication. I'm a fan. So I really appreciate and think that that is a really neat aspect that I really hadn't thought about with virtual schooling.
And they get a copy of everything. So if we send it to your student, you're seeing it too. There are no secrets. We want transparency because we want our partnership with our parents
Right.
and everybody that's having impact on that student's learning. So that's important.
I feel like you're really working to make a true team for each student.
Yes,
A true team.
absolutely. Because if in the triangulation of campus, student, and parent, if you think about it in like an electrical circuit, if you break one of those bonds, then that energy is not going through.
It's
So
not
if you
there.
think about it, in the virtual environment, it's even more glaringly obvious, but it stands true in brick and
Sure.
mortar, is that if you have one of these voices that's not in the conversation, you're not going to get the full effect. The success is not going to be to the depth
Fully
that it
to
needs
the
to be.
potential that it could
Yes.
be.
So if we can capitalize on our parent partnerships and we can talk to them and say, "Tell me about what's going on," and the student, and we can tell me how you learned this. Tell me what your interest is.
Right.
What's your passion? I want to know
Right.
you. You know,
Tell
like
me.
I gotta know because if
Everything.
I know, then I can serve you better, and
right.
that's what we do. So with all of that. Comes to my second year as a teacher because with Tiva I started as a teacher. I moved into a trainer position. I worked on the national team. I came back. I was an assistant principal, a trainer on the campus, and then principal, and now Title I senior manager. So
There you
all
go.
of those, I've seen so
All of
many
it.
different layers. The one student that I come back to, we won't mention his name, but his mom, I worked very closely with his mom, and she was just to a point where she said, I don't know what to do with him. You know, he's a sixth grader. What am I going
Right.
to do with him? I can't get him to come to class to learn. Can't even get him to log on. And in those moments, to be able to show up, have a conversation with that student and say, I hear you and I hear your mom. Now we all have to come together in this conversation and figure out how we're going to serve you best and support you best because it's about you. It's not about us.
Right.
And he came around, and by building that relationship, we were not only able to move him past that grade level. I met them at testing in person. So I was able, and that's the other thing we do, we test in person.
Right.
I was about to ask that.
So I met them in person, and it was for the first time in my whole career. Mind you, I'd been teaching for almost 10 years. My whole career, I had a mom come up to me, and tears in her eyes, and she said, "You have no idea what those conversations did.
Wow.
He would not be here. He was planning, like sixth grader. I'm done. I'm dropping
Wow,
out. I'm done."
that's
And it's
rough.
a rural community, so where are you going to go? She ended up, like, he ended up moving from her home and all the things, but he graduated.
Wow.
They still contact us. It's about the relationship, and that's the piece that we bring, is that I can talk to you in brick and mortar, I can see you in person, and I'm going to get this much. I'm going to get face value. But when we're virtual, you have to dig deeper. Those conversations look a little bit different. The need is different, and showing up, I think it shows a fortitude. Because if you're a virtual teacher and they know you that well, then there's a lot of effort that came into that. And so
they can
I think-
feel that.
Yes. So I think that's important too.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
Good stuff.
It is so good stuff. So much good stuff. So, how do you help students stay connected socially when they're not in this physical environment of the brick and mortar? How does that piece work?
I'm thinking basically the outings that we have, and then you'll have the K-12 zone, which allows students to connect outside the classroom. You have the classroom connections.
We have homeroom time where our teachers meet with kids once a week. We have lots of social interaction online, but it's very monitored.
Got it.
And protected. So that it's not as though we've just said, hey, here's a room, go in here,
Free
you
for
all
all.
virtually, hang out, have the best time.
No.
It is monitored, it's supervised. In our K-12 zone, we intentionally place things in there like a counseling corner. We have a full
Okay.
counseling team.
Really?
Yes, and they're amazing. We do have, I always tell everybody I talk to that we have masters of their craft, and it doesn't matter if they're teaching or if they're counselors or if they're supporting a student in any way, our ambassadors, anybody who speaks to our families, they all are just an immense
So amazing.
talent. Yes.
Well, I can tell that this week. And y'all know I'm not even just saying that. I'm just bragging on you behind your backs, to your faces and behind your backs. But that is very intriguing to me. It feels like to me kind of what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like you have to look at everything from a different and deeper angle than if you're in this face-to-face situation. You have to think beyond the box. You have to think deeper than the box, over the box, under the box, all around the box. And you've got to look at every angle, everywhere, every day, every kid, every time. And that's what I feel from your teachers and from you guys.
And the level of collaboration that we get from them and the sharing is above anything I've ever seen. In brick and mortar, the PLCs, you're in there all the time. We meet, we have PLCs, we have conversation, but we also are connected on Teams. So constantly
It's
during
constant.
the day, they are sharing and talking and kicking ideas around and saying, is this going to work for us? Or did you try this? Or tell me how this went.
Right.
So that's how we are, iron sharpens iron. We are
Sure.
really working with each other and not against each other. We're a team. And I think that is another one of the great things that we have, is that when you work as a team and you feel the passion and the love for that together, then it just
Right.
grows.
And
This
what-
just came.
Go
This
ahead.
just came
No,
to
no,
mind
no,
when
go.
you said that. We were talking the other day about my husband and I love to go to Colorado and with the aspen trees and how they're all rooted together. And that's kind of what I think about with the teachers. They're all in their own individual rooms, in their own individual homes, but yet the interconnectedness between those teams and how they are constantly collaborating and working together helps everyone to thrive.
Yes.
That just, yeah.
You know, that's one thing. Obviously,
love
I
that.
in-service thousands of teachers every year and so on and so on. But one of the things I've noticed this week with your teachers, you would think, okay, these people have never met. So how's that going to work? What if they don't like each other? How's that going to work? But you would never know that. I remember it was only 2 days ago when we got here. We still have 3 days left, but so I remember way back when, 2 days ago. But two of the teachers came up to me and said, "Can you believe we just met for the first time in person today? She's my best friend." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool!"
Hugs.
And
Just-
hugs
Yes.
everywhere. And I said, "How long have you guys known each other?" And they said, "Or no." 2 days they had seen each other in person. 4 years. They'd been working together for 4 years. And I said, we talk every day and we plan together every day. And I'm like, oh, that's so neat. You don't think about that when you think of virtual school. You're like, okay, I'm in front of a screen. Now go. And it's not that. It's so much more. It's so much more. Speaking of which, one of the things that I learned, so some of you may not know this, but I've done some teaching for TIVA as well. And one of the things that I was really big on is I want to be able to interact. We talked a lot about that. I like interacting. I like communication. I want everybody engaged. And they said, one of the tools you have is you could send them to tables. I'm like, excuse me? What does that mean? And what you guys explained to me was they can get in groups. Now, adults are in there. They can't just free for all.
Right.
But you can have them have small group discussions. I said, how are we going to have them have small group discussions? And Julie's like, oh, I got you. Tell me a little bit about that part.
Well, I don't work behind the scenes as much on that, but it was basically you got them in the room with you, and just like you do in a brick and mortar, you move them to small groups. With this program
Yes.
that they use, they have the capability to move
Yeah.
to those rooms and collaborate together.
It's so cool.
It's cool.
It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And I love that. I'm like, oh, we can still do small groups. Oh man, Julie, I can do so much if I can get them in small groups. And so, yeah, I really thought that was neat. And there were just so many things that I thought were neat. You know, of course, they could send clappy hands and those things that you would kind of expect. But the tables and the small groups, that was really intriguing to me as a possibility for kids to still have that collaboration with other kids, not just the collaboration with the teacher, but the collaboration with other kids is still so not just possible, but probable. And I thought that was a really neat piece of the puzzle as well.
So to add to that, you had mentioned, you had asked about the socialization, and one thing you wouldn't think about are the testing pieces, but we do meet in person for our state testing during the testing windows, and I'm always amazed at the kiddos that come in, and while they're in the waiting area, they'll visit, and they can't visit when they go in the testing room. So when they're
Right.
coming out waiting on their parents or whatever the situation is, they are making friends, and they're bonding, and they're like, "This, I can't wait to see you tomorrow," or "When is your next test? I want to make
Right.
sure you're here." And it's exciting to watch them. Virtual education did not take that ability
Right.
away from them.
It almost enhanced it.
Yes, and it made them more apt to reach out and talk to someone and be more willing to have a conversation. And, you know, it's not all of our kids are willing to do that or able to do that, but those that are, we have them leading with, we will walk them over to their mom and say, "Hey, they've made a friend. Would you be okay with making a connection?" We connect the parents, and the parents can make that decision,
Okay.
because that's out
That's
of our
neat. Sure.
out of our decision. But it's good for them to see. Several at my side have done that. I think that's happened probably across the state.
Neat.
And it's just exciting to see that. You think of socialization one way, out on on the playground for recess, or
Right,
whatever's happening
right.
at the brick and mortar school, but we are able to infuse socialization in multiple different areas of virtual learning.
Another place I saw that, tag teaming off of that, one of the times we logged on for one of the classes I was teaching with you guys, and one of the kids logged on and another kid logs on, and he says, "Oh, so-and-so, I love your new haircut." And I was like, "Oh, that's right. She did get her haircut." And another student noticed that student got a haircut, and the girl's like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "Oh." I just had this pregnant pause for a moment of, I had this epiphany of, that was so cool. I was like, "Oh yeah, right, I'm supposed to be teaching." But I was like, that was just a neat encounter, and took 2 seconds. And they complimented each other. They noticed a difference in each other when someone got their hair cut. And I was like, "Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff." And so they were bonding and they were building relationships. And, you know, sometimes I think the virtual world sells that part short.
Absolutely. Well, sells it short, but in our situation, we're able to support that differently and have those conversations and refocus them when maybe they've misstepped in a social situation, and we can say, "Hang on, friend, let's back
Right.
up, let's talk about this," or "Why did we approach it that way?"
Sure.
But in a brick and mortar, you may not always have those situations. We have lots
So
of
many
opportunities
situations, yes.
to have those conversations, because you know they're learning just like everybody else. They're
We
learning
are,
how
of course.
to walk through some of these conversations, and maybe it's not always the most positive, but we'll get you
Right.
there. You
We're
know,
gonna
we'll
get
have this,
there
we'll have a
together.
talk. Yes, we're going to gain a skill.
Sure.
You know.
So, okay, audience that we have out here, I see you nodding when we're talking about the kid who noticed the other kid's hair and like, "Oh, yeah. What are some of your experiences that you wouldn't mind sharing?" And I'll repeat it if it doesn't pick it up well for us out here, but talk super loud, use your good teacher voice, that you've seen of kids making connections that really stood out for you.
I think that's been one of the most unexpected joys of transitioning to the virtual teaching world. I have kids who are consistently celebrating others in the chat. So we keep a running chat where they are always able to talk with me directly at all times, and then a lot of the times throughout the class talk and celebrate each other's learning, so that they can directly ask questions like, "Tell me more," or "I disagree," and
Right.
just noticing and having that mutual respect in the lower elementary level is something that I cherish with my group of kids.
And tell us what grade level?
I'm third grade.
Third grade. Okay.
So having third graders begin to recognize more than just themselves and more than just their world, they recognize when somebody who is Are they okay?
Yes.
I noticed we celebrate a lot of our puppies and our dogs and our cats and our birds and our turtles and our cows and our horses.
Their family too.
Right? Like,
All those
all
animals.
of the animals.
We get that here at the ranch.
One of them was sick. I wonder if they're outside helping them. We take our camera and we run outside at the end of the class and we check on them. Like, it's just
That is
the first
priceless.
time that happened to me, I was literally speechless. I was like, we just seconds after watching
Right.
a new little animal come into the world. Like, it was just
Wow.
one of those experiences you don't plan for and you don't expect, or you're not anticipating kids rising to that level of care and concern
Sure.
for each other. And I love to be able to not have all of the other distractions and to be able to better see and honor that they have that ability from the onset. We just need to give them this space.
We should have
to
given this
show
girl
it.
a microphone. So let me try to encapsulate. If I'm not sure what it's picking up for us from the soundboard, but one of the first things you said, help me remember all the greatness. You said so many good nuggets, like you say nuggets, that you love to watch them celebrate each other. That is really something neat. And another thing you talked about was how when they know if one of the other of them is absent and they ask about them, make sure they're okay. Are they okay? Are they sick? What's going on? And then I love that you brought in, because of course at the ranch we like animals around here, when you were talking about somebody took their phone outside with them, their camera outside with them, and say, hey, we're about to have a new baby calf be born. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. And they were sharing this momentous event in their lives right there with everybody, and what a teachable moment that was providing. And kind of like when I said I had this pregnant pause when someone recognized the haircut of another student, I don't know why that hadn't crossed my mind. It just hadn't, but I just paused in this moment of, wow, that was neat. And you were talking about, you just kind of had to, you were taken aback for a minute, that you just had to think, wait a minute, there is an element of this, there's a dimension to this that I was not expecting to gain. So, did I miss anything? You said so much good stuff. I hope I didn't miss any of it.
Thank you for summarizing that. It was beautiful.
Well, you did beautiful. You did beautiful, friend. Do you have anything you want to contribute? We've got some more in the audience here.
My experience has been very similar. The students really celebrate each other. They notice when someone's missing, and they express concern. We're in my classroom big on our pets, and so
And tell us what grade level.
fourth grade.
You're fourth grade. Okay.
And so we have quite a few. So not every year I get all the students with lots of pets.
Lots of animals.
We're constantly celebrating our pets. And
We should have a Tiva farm. Just
Tiva
a virtual
farm.
Tiva farm.
A virtual Tiva farm.
we should.
Oh, don't give me any ideas, girl.
So, and they're always, they're always anxious to share and show their pets. And much like Shannon, we've had, all kinds of experiences from seeing newborn animals to lost pets. That like one little girl lost her cat, and the whole class wanted to go look for it, which would have been a feat in itself because we're all over Texas.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but everybody was making suggestions. Did you check under the bed? Check the closet. Don't forget the drawers.
That's the
Things like that.
best.
And so they're so sweet, and we're so invested in each other at a different level. My big takeaway was when I started to realize when I connect with my students, it's at a much deeper level than I was actually able to do in a regular brick and mortar classroom. And it's been so rewarding. I speak to the parents on a regular basis and the families, and we have that ongoing rapport. They know things about me that they probably wouldn't know in a personal life. They've seen things come crashing down behind me because my cats are kind of crazy. So
They get to know you.
classes sometimes. It's a different level, and I really treasure that.
That is really neat. So I'm going to try to encapsulate you too, because you guys are just, this is beautiful. This is amazing. And it's an element that if people aren't accustomed to the virtual world, they probably don't even think that this part exists. You talked about, again, the celebrations, and my favorite story that you told, I hope it's catching all of it, but my favorite story that you told was when one of the little kiddos was missing their cat, and the rest of your kids, your fourth graders, were saying, did you check under the bed? Did you look behind the door? Did you, helping them try to find their cat. Did they find the cat?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. They found the cat. Okay, well, that's good stuff.
It was under the bed.
Under the bed. Okay, good. And so I also love that you said that you're invested in a different level. And you didn't say, I'm invested, therefore I didn't used to be invested. You said at a different level. And that struck me. And then you clarified and you went even further and you said at a deeper level. And that you have more communication. And that you have more communication with the parents on a deeper level and more frequent. So it sounds to me that it's quantity and quality that you're gaining, and you taught in brick and mortar also, I assume, at some, yeah. So you really do have a fantastic comparison to do that with. How long have you guys been in virtual? 9 years, okay.
Virtual 5 years.
5 years virtual, okay. So we're talking about, veterans in the virtual world. We really are. You guys have been doing this a long time, and you have a lot to compare it to. So thank you so much. We may involve you guys again. You're wonderful. I wish I had more microphones. All right. Go ahead.
Real quick, what I love about what they shared is that it only exemplifies how we are a family. And I know people come and say, we're a family, we're a Tiva family. And maybe not everybody's going to feel that way, but collectively as a group, not just as a staff or as a community, all together, we are collectively a family. So celebrating together, being sad together,
Sure.
encouraging each other, celebrating each other, all of those things are family things. And what I love immensely about what we do is that in brick and mortar and in most learning opportunities, it stops with the student. Or you may have a parent interaction with us. We have parents, we have family members, because who's in the background is also hearing the instruction, the interaction, building the relationships. We're all growing from this one instance or this one opportunity. There are a multitude of growth opportunities from that. So that's one of the things I really do love about what we do, is that it's not just face value.
Right.
We are pushing past it and we're going into the environment.
And I think that's what you were saying too about a different level. It's a different level. Yeah. Well, I think we're at 40-something minutes. What are we at? 44 minutes. Of course it is. 44 minutes. My favorite number is number 4. Everything happens in 4s for me. So, of course, it's 44 minutes. Why wouldn't it be? Well, we're going to pause for a cause. We are going to wrap up part 1, and then we are going to go into part 2. So you ladies mind sticking around for part 2?
Sounds good.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. And if this message inspired you, share it with a colleague. But better yet, bring it back to your own classroom in some way. Even if you're in brick and mortar, how can we take what we've learned today and apply it, whether we're virtual, we're brick and mortar, or we're the homeschooling parent? It does not matter. We are educators. What can we take there? I believe no matter what seminar you go to, what podcast you listen to, there's the good stuff everywhere. Look for the good stuff. So I encourage you to keep doing that. And I encourage you to teach with your whole heart and teach big, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and of course, iHeartRadio. And until next time, teach big, think big, and believe in the greatness that's already within you.